What's up, guys? Our good friends from Game Time are back with the channel, and we're so excited about it. And hey, what a time for them to come back on, and what a time for us to have a Game Time offer for you, because right now the baseball season is in full effect. And who doesn't love enjoying America's game? Well, with the Game Time app, you can enjoy America's game and save money while doing it. So go to the Game Time app right now. Sign up using my promo code DCTV. We'll give you $20 off of your first purchase. Now, it is baseball season and we all love baseball, but Game Time is not limited to just baseball. You can do anything: concerts, comedy shows, basketball, mixed martial arts. Get tickets to anything by using the Game Time app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download it right now. Create an account. Use my promo code DCTV for $20 off of your first purchase. Again, guys, go and download the Game Time app. Use my promo code DCTV when you create an account, and we'll give you $20 off of your first purchase. Welcome back, Game Time. We love you guys. We've missed you. All right, guys. So I'm in Fargo, North Dakota again, as I am every single year for the National Wrestling Tournament. But when so much is going on in MMA, we still got to get together. Now, see those pictures back there? You want to know why it looks familiar? Because the one thing that came good out of the pandemic, for me at least, is I discovered the Residence Inn. Hey, there's a kitchen, there's a living room, there's a bedroom, bathroom. I pretty much have my own apartment everywhere I go now because I stay in these places. So remember when the UFC had the pandemic hotel? Yeah, I choose to stay there now. So kind of like a glutton for punishment. But again, as I was saying, so much is going on this week in MMA that I had to get with you guys. One, Jon Jones got charged for the incident with the lady at the testing. Two, Khamzat said he's got a return date in mind with a stipulation for what his return date looks like. Three, Dustin Poirier has a list of names that he says absolutely will fight, but he says something else in that, which is a little confusing, but we will see. And four, I guess Nate Diaz has been shorted $12 million, $10 million, or some crazy number like that. Insane. So let's start here. My boy Jon Jones. Guys, he got served 2 misdemeanors for the incident with the drug testing lady. If I'm being completely honest, though, the whole time I kind of thought that deal was BS. I feel like he was approached very early, right? Or if I recall correctly, it was either early in the morning or late in the evening where he could have been home having some drinks. And I know that we all rush to judge Jones because of his past issues. But the reality is, if a man is at his house and he's having some drinks in the confines of his own home, so what? It's his right to do that. And if the drug testers come and he might be a little bit tipsy or messed up, maybe the interactions aren't as fun or as easy as they may have been in different other occasions. So I kind of always thought it was BS. I don't think much is going to come of it, but because he is who he is, it's always a story, regardless of what happens to this guy. And honestly, that's kind of like living in the spotlight. But I think because of everything he's done in the past, the light shines a little brighter on him, even in situations where it shouldn't. So I don't really think that this is that big a deal. I think it was always going to be a misdemeanor, but some of the things that has happened in the past were much more serious. if you are a Jones hater and you are hoping that something comes of this, I don't think it will. I think this man was bombarded a little bit, and I think that a misdemeanor is only the court's way of taking some action, because something has to be done whenever you do something wrong. I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just a guy that doesn't like a guy that is actually standing up for that guy, because I know it's bullshit. So it is what it is. So Khamzat Chimaev is supposed to fight Robert Whitaker in Saudi Arabia. He said he's looking to come back in October. There was something that he said in that was a bit weird, because he knows, Khamzat knows. Khamzat isn't guessing at the date he can fight, when he can fight, or who he can fight. There are options. You know, he's one of the brighter young stars in the UFC. We all know that. But he said he wants to come back in October, which is in Abu Dhabi, which is where we have seen him fight. We saw him fight in Abu Dhabi. He was supposed to fight in Saudi Arabia. He's one of those guys that does really well in the Middle East. He was looking to come back then. But now he's saying he wants to fight for the belt. Guys, this is where Khamzat loses me, if I'm being completely honest. I think him asking for a title fight in October is actually crazy. Look, him asking for a title fight isn't crazy. Him asking for a title fight in October is crazy. Dricus Du Plessis fought in January. They offered him a fight at UFC 300 for more money, and he couldn't do it because he was injured. How in the world do we expect him to fight in August and then fight again in October? It's just not happening. Like, it's not happening. And I don't understand why Khamzat would say, I want a title fight. What happened to the Robert Whitaker fight? Robert Whitaker said he'll be ready to weigh in August to fight if Izzy or Dricus can't fight. If he weighs in and he's healthy and ready just in case, why not rematch those two guys up? Because to me, it feels like Khamzat will need one more fight to earn that middleweight championship opportunity. So putting him back in there with the guy he was supposed to fight already seems to make the most sense to me. Meaning Khamzat versus Robert Whitaker to determine who's next. You know what? Or Sean Strickland. You know, it just, I don't understand how Sean Strickland keeps getting forgotten. He does everything he's supposed to do. He wins the fights. He was the number one contender. He should not always seem to be put on the back burner. He beat Paulo Costa better than Rob Whitaker beat Paulo Costa. Rob goes and has that crazy fight in Saudi Arabia. We immediately start talking about him as the number one contender. What about Sean Strickland? I don't know why people are so quick to discount this man. We saw it on his rise to the championship. We saw it when he was the champion. We saw it when he was coming back. Can he beat this guy, this guy? I don't know why people are so quick to discredit this man. When this man has shown multiple times now that he's as viable a person at middleweight as any of these guys. So while I love that Khamzat seems to be ready to come back, I believe that he should probably fight Robert Whitaker, right? That's what we were supposed to get anyways. And then Whitaker wins the fight in the way that he does. Should be those two. Dustin Poirier got a list of fighters that they said, John Anik said, if you get this name, would it be one of these? Great names. all super big fights. And as Dustin has said, those are the fights that would get him to fight again. But then he went on to say, if I fight again, it will be one of those. When I fight again, it's going to be one of those guys. Like, I'm so confused as to what's happening. But you know what I think is the most intriguing thing to me is that while I'm so confused, I'm interested. That's where Dustin's smart, because he spoke of retirement and it felt like it was going to be a true thing. But now that he's walking it back a little bit, but not walking it back so clearly that we know what's happening, we're always on the edge of our seats with him. I think Dustin Poirier has figured it out, how to stay relevant while he's making his decision. And I don't hate it. As I think about it, I don't hate it, because every day or every time a Dustin Poirier video comes out, I wonder to myself, what's he going to do? I watch every time a Dustin Poirier video comes out because I wonder what he's going to do. And I expect or hope that he's going to tell me something in regards to his future on that video. But then he says, when I fight again, yeah, it'll be one of these guys. So you go, yes. And as soon as he's done, he goes, if I fight again. So I don't know. I don't know if the script says to play the line, or I don't know if sometimes he forgets the script and he just says what he truly feels. But I know they got me hooked, man. The Dustin Poirier saga has got the boy, and I'm all in for it. So Nate Diaz got screwed by the promoter that promoted his bout with Jorge Masvidal. He was supposed to get paid $10 million. He got $1 million. So Nate said that he's suing for fraud and breach of contract because he was promised 10 for his match. But the promoter allegedly told Diaz he can't pay him because his wife would divorce him over the financial loss. I mean, that's bad. He said that Solomon Ingle is in breach of his contract and there was fraud, as he has not been paid $9 million of the $10 million purse he was promised for Masvidal. Guys, there's a lot in that. I mean, there's a lot in that. One, Nate Diaz was getting $10 million to box Jorge Masvidal. That's crazy. You know, that's one of those times where you're like, am I really going to get $10 million to box Jorge Masvidal? Where in the world do you recoup this money? I don't know. You know, one of the biggest, misconceptions or misunderstanding that people have in regards to pay-per-view is it doesn't always do well. And when it doesn't do well, it's crazy. I mean, the gate was 1.2 million, which is good. They sold a lot of pay-per-views. Sorry, they sold a lot of tickets. It looked great on TV. It looked like it was full. But that doesn't say how many pay-per-views you're going to get. I got the pay-per-view on Fight Pass, and because I work for the UFC, I have to pay for it. But I can't say that if I didn't get it free, I was going to pay for it. So where does that money come from? Like, sometimes people promise you things to get you to do things, and they never have any intention on paying you. $10 million for a boxing match against another MMA guy would seem like one of those situations where my ears would kind of perk up and go, I don't know. But if he was promised that, he might he needs to go after it because that's a lot of money. He said the guy goes, his wife would divorce him because of the loss. That tells you right there. Pay-per-views didn't sell. But that's not on Nate. Nate, if he did everything he was supposed to do, promotionally, I'm talking every interview, every sit down, every this. He was on with All the Smoke podcast. So he went and got some views. He did his promotional work. Pay the man. Pay that man. It's not on him to guarantee a pay-per-view sells. But if Nate was getting 10, what's George getting? What's the next guy getting? What's Pettis getting? What are all these guys getting where you think a boxing match between two MMA guys is going to clear 12, $13 million? It just doesn't make sense in business. I don't get it. But if anybody's going to get screwed, it's always that fighter, right? If I ain't got money to pay you, I'm not going to put myself on the streets to make sure that you're made whole. Because for as much, and that's boxing, right? Boxing's a bit of a dirty game. It's always been where the promoters had all the power. That's why when Floyd Mayweather became who he was and started to do what he started to do, it was so refreshing because he seemed to take the power from Bob Arum and start making all that money, right? Boxing's always been that. I mean, the stories of what Don King did to Mike Tyson, stuff of legend, like we've heard it for years. Even if you are not the biggest boxing person, you knew what Don King did with Mike Tyson. So sadly, what's happening to Nate isn't a surprising thing in that sport because it's been happening for years and years and years. And I said Mike Tyson, but I bet we can go back to the 70s and 60s and 50s, and the same things have been happening. A lot by the same people. But now the new people have just taken the blueprint and started to run the same dirty business. I hope Nate gets his money because he did all he was supposed to do to try to help the fight. All right, guys. Well, as you see, my voice. Boy, my voice. Gotta rest that thing. Until next time, guys. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends DC's got a YouTube channel. Hit the notifications. Make sure you don't miss anything. Like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.